Hey, Salut Friends. Today we are taking a look at the latest Serge Lutens from their collection Noire. This is a 2024 release called as Fille Tour de Fer or The Iron Tower Girl, composed by the regular perfumer collaborator Christopher Sheldrake. Now, Serge Lutens goes without saying it's one of the best niche houses and some would argue the best active perfume house. It is one of my favorites, no doubt. Mainly because it was one amongst the brands like Comme des Garçons and État Libre d'Orange that opened the gateway for me to explore more interesting perfumes outside your big designer releases. They were also quite affordable even some 7 years ago from discounters especially. Unlike today, you don't need to cash in hundreds to explore niche houses at the time. They are a proper niche house, admire their mysterious avant-garde aesthetic, bold amber scents, usually with a lot of Eastern influence. Very creative, unapologetic, unusual, angular compositions, at times bizarre, always presented with a cryptical backstory. For quite some time, all their perfumes have been made by Christopher Sheldrake. Speaking of which, Sheldrake is one of the best perfumers working today. He is of course the head of materials research at Chanel, working with Polge, both father and son. He is mainly known for his creations with Serge, Féminité du Bois with Bourdon, Jour de Peau, Santal Majuscule, 5 o'clock au gingembre, Fille en Aiguilles, Chergui, Ambre Sultan, and many other fragrances which are considered as modern classics at this point. A properly creative, authentic, original perfumer, so it's always an exciting time when we get a new Serge. This one, La Fille Tour de Fer, is supposed to be part homage and part subversive take on the theme of a woman in the city of Paris, or you could consider Paris itself as a woman. The name obviously refers to the Eiffel Tower. In fact, the publicity and the presentation includes the truss structure. Perfumes based on Paris and its women are not particularly new, but everyone has a different backstory based on where they come from. So coming from Serge means that they had something to share. Reason being that he is someone who seems to genuinely appreciate women, whether it be someone from his life like his mother or a character from a novel. He has always expressed his thoughts about the idea of femininity. You could see this from his days working in the beauty industry for Dior, Shiseido and so on. Later with his perfumes, the obvious one being Féminité du Bois, there's also L'Orpheline, Fille en Aiguille and La Fille de Berlin. All have something to say about women. With this scent, what's the theme? It is yet another take on rose. I say yet another because of two reasons. Firstly, it joins the other roses from the house, which already has the likes of Sa Majesté la Rose, Rose de Nuit and La Fille de Berlin, the last of which is also based on a city. Second being, it is a rose-dominant perfume, which we have plenty around. But rose has become a genre of its own. Almost every house had to have a rose perfume. Frederic Malle, for instance, famously has 4 in their lineup. But I still went in with an open mind. After all, many perfumers have talked about how they are still discovering new facets of rose that they would like to express. Coming back to this, how does it actually smell? It opens spicy and fruity with some red fruit-like smell. They claim to use natural essence of bay rose, which is the red peppercorn. They have this peppery, rosy, biting scent profile with a hint of sweetness. I'm also getting some geranium in the opening, which is also used to complement rose frequently. This already establishes the rose theme for the rest of the transition. Then you get the central rose profile. Here it is created by a combination of Bulgarian rose and Turkish rose essence. The Bulgarian rose brings the lemony, spicy, lightly green facets to the central rose theme. Also the freshness that helps it lead the scent from the fruity opening into the dry down. The lemony rose smell is particularly prominent. Additionally, I'm picking up hints of clove and licorice, which rose tends to have. I was for a split second reminded of Portrait of a Lady because it also has this red berry opening transitioning to the rose. But the actual scent profile is not the same at all. Here they don't seem to have any other red fruits like raspberries or blackberries. Then there is Turkish rose, which brings the more plush, velvety, floral, sort of warm rose profile to the scent. The combination of both roses bring this slightly metallic mentholated undertone. There is a sharp green component here as well, very minor. Could be the roses themselves or something like hyacinth. Additionally, there may be some jasmine to complement the floral heart, I think. The overall mid of the fragrance is this soft, spicy, slightly watery, rosy smell. Not too rich, not drowned in honey, vanilla, amber or ethyl maltol sweetness. In many ways, it feels almost obvious, like what you see is what you get, which is how many Serge Lutens recent releases have been. They also claim it has an iris accord, which I'm getting, but very lightly. It is not one of those iris, violet, heliotrope, almond, makeup-y, lipsticky, powder, blousy scents. More so soft and creamy. The iris seems to be used more so to sort of smoothen the sharp aspects of the rose and give that waxy petals-like texture. And that's pretty much your main transition. As time goes on, the lemony, lightly soapy facets of the rose go away. The more tea-like, spicy nuances come in, followed by the more floral, velvety hints. It is like you placed a rose in a studio and changed the focus and lighting over time. And in the far dry down, slightly bitter, musky aspects of the rose remain. It does not go dusty, dry or powdery like some rose scents can. Has this sort of creamy, lotion-like outlook to it after 4 or 5 hours down the road. Some hints of dry tonka bean also is present. I would imagine they have musks in the composition as well, obviously. Just a touch of mossiness which might as well be patchouli, and this is how the scent closes out. And with that, I would say it is pretty much an attempt at creating a soliflore. It is not trying to be an epic, overarching theme with a rose presence, not a baroque, operatic, oriental as well. Very much a composition anchored by rose. It does not have the green stems or leaves or the earthiness or woodiness either. I think it still has its place and does not remind me too much of the other roses in the collection. Does not go in the honeyed sweet direction of La Fille de Berlin or Sa Majeste, nor the powdery musky direction of Rose de Nuit. It is more so like a rose that has been brought from nature into a city to be part of the urban ecosystem surrounded by people. Somewhere like the lobby of the Four Seasons Hotel George V in Paris. If it is a woman, it would be a brunette from Saint-Germain-des-Prés neighborhood. The performance is okay, lasted 5 to 6 hours on me. Moderate projection, could be worn year round I think. Unisex, leaning feminine, as long as you're comfortable with rose perfumes. It could be redundant if you have a lot of rose perfumes, so needs testing. Also not cheap at retail. I got this for less than half online with the idea that I could always sell it if I don't like it. Is it the break that Serge was looking for in recent times? No. Is it one of the best roses in recent times? Possibly. I think it is pleasant, pretty, well constructed, simple and does what it sets out to do. Is it really breaking Parisian cliches? I'm not sure. These are some cards that came with this. The waiter, the gentleman, the fire eater, chimney sweep, the little girl, and our main character. And from that it looks like Serge is being cheeky as they are with some of their releases. In the blurb it says, "In one fell swoop, she overturns the outdated image of the sweet corseted Parisian belle with her Eiffel Tower and other cliches, hot colors and haute couture. She is a master of reinvention, always a rebel against everything, including herself. She forges ahead without fear. Be careful with her, she's a tough one. To be honest, she tires me out. What about you?" Okay, it is more modern and contemporary if you compare it to the old apothecary classical style of some of the other Serge releases. But come on, seeing these cards and the Eiffel Tower design, it seems like playing into the cliche, and maybe that's what the last line of tiring out is referring to. With all that, I will conclude by saying, though it is not a showstopper and the latest Serge releases have not lived up to their classics, it is still worth sampling because I find this more interesting to discuss and analyze rather than another boring, overpriced, nouveau niche release. Unfortunately, not many on YouTube will talk about this even though it's been out for more than a month, because you have to make an effort to go and smell it or buy it. Whereas a decade or so ago, it would at least be given the time of the day if it is a Serge Lutens release. Not anymore, which is unfortunate. After that, liking it or hating it is another story. This one definitely deserves the chance. So there you have it, my thoughts on La Fille Tour de Fer. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, take care and ciao.